What's happening, gamers? Welcome back to Sunday Drive, the audio podcast here on the Nightwing 01 channel. I keep forgetting what channels I'm on.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know what it is, but I do know today is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to the fathers out there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my siren on. RoboCop says, have an awesome Father's Day.
RoboCop says, especially to the police fathers out there.
Yes.
And to our grandpa.
And yes, our grandpa. Most of my...
Who's a retired
one side of my
police
family is all
officer.
law enforcement or civil servants, so it makes sense.
But yes, happy Father's Day to all fathers out there.
That's right, not just
you guys are
my
all
family.
Special.
So I thought today, Amber and I would talk a little bit about what our day was like, and also reminisce about Dad, which most of you guys don't really hear much about my dad. My dad is not in the industry that I work in. He's quite the opposite of me.
But he did kind of play a lot of video games.
He did play a lot of video games with me when I was growing up, so I mean, until he developed headaches, or maybe it was just an excuse that I was too good and he didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
I have a headache, so I can't play.
Yeah, you beat me 4 times out of 5. Well, too bad, we can't play anymore. I am having a headache.
Or he would make little rules like, no, you can't play as Odd Job, and we're doing slappers only in GoldenEye. But anyway, my dad, he's pretty cool, but he doesn't really game anymore. He mostly, if you really call it gaming, sometimes he does the stuff on his tablet or whatever, just like my mom.
I don't want to go
there. I don't really,
I'm not going to define if that's called gaming or not.
I don't really call that gaming.
We might actually end up covering some tablet games.
Yeah, we do have a tablet,
yeah.
But everybody's like talking about their favorite memories with their dad. It's like I have a lot, but they're not what you would call like, you know, really bonding moments. It was just noting my dad's personality and how things would change. Like for one, when he was playing video games with me, he held the controller so weird. I've never seen this to this day. Like anybody else I've ever played a video game with has held the controller the way my dad did. He would take a gamepad controller and hold it like it was an arcade joystick. And it would be like floating. It'd be sitting in his palm.
Like this?
And it would be, you know, when the controller didn't even have joysticks. It was like, how can you play like that? It's like, you can't play a fighting game like that. Yeah, but his fingers were wicked fast for that. It was like, whoa, that's pretty cool, Dad. But it's like, no, you can't do that. There's rules, and rules state you can't do that.
Yeah.
Did that guy just drop out of the game because I was gonna hit him with my power? That's kind of rude.
I don't know, like, I'll just say something quick about my dad. Like, every Father's Day, I think of that movie, the one with the monsters. Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc.?
Because, when I was a little girl, I used to always sit up on my dad's shoulders and, like, I used to, like, pull on his hair like they were reins.
Oh,
like, it would just do that.
That'd be painful,
and one time I accidentally did, like, I would sit up there because I was so tiny when I was little. Like, I was the smallest girl in my whole school when I was in 1st grade. Like, and I'm not talking about my class, my whole school. So I used to be so tiny when I was little, and I wasn't in 1st grade when I sat up there. I was mostly like 4 or something.
Yeah.
But like, I just remember one time. I actually, now I'm thinking of it. I don't know if I should say it out loud, but I ended up like hitting him in the head.
Oh, headbutt!
And I think my little tooth went into the top of his head too. That's my Father's Day moment there. But I remember most of my child life as a child was spent on his shoulders.
That's cute.
So yeah. So anyway, you continue with your Father's Day thing. So
my Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Dad, if you're listening. So.
Yeah. So
yeah, I remember you talking about your dad. You can always hear him coming because of his boots.
Oh yeah, okay. My dad likes to wear cowboy boots for some reason. I don't know why, but he just does. It's his thing, you know, the cowboy boots. And I don't even know how it happened. Maybe he started doing it because of like Dukes of Hazzard or something, like back in the 80s. I really don't know. But he has this thing about cowboy boots, and he wears them. Now his profession is not one that would really be wearing cowboy boots. That's the thing. My dad,
he just loves, and he loves pickup trucks, and
Yep.
He's just, you know, he should have been a rancher.
Should have been a cowboy.
I know. He's like, he was born in the wrong time. Well, there's still cowboys, but there's less land out there to cowboy.
I remember how happy he was a couple years ago when somebody bought him brand new cowboy boots, because the one he'd been wearing, like, they were so old, so he had got like brand new cowboy boots, and it was from a specific store. that you had to get them. Like he would only accept the cowboy boots from like that one place that he bought his from like 20-something years ago. And you look at the boots, and they just look like a newer version of his old one. And it's like, you're really happy with these? And he's like, yep. It's like, okay. He's also a Pirates fan who, I mean, they're kind of like the Cubs I mean, the Cubs haven't won the World Series in almost 100 years, but
it's equally depressing.
The Pirates are a very depressing team to cheer for, and you know, my dad will get up and scream at the TV and be like, you know, go team, or we got to score, and I would always remind him and be like, I was trolling him, because I'm not really a sports person, you know, most gamers really aren't, which I know some people say stereotype, but it's kind of stereotype to think that gamers, you know, really do sports. I mean, I know gaming has changed, but when I was around, back when gaming really started, it was like a separate thing. Gamers weren't jocks, gamers weren't sports people, gamers were gamers.
They were a different, they were a breed of their own.
We were a breed of our own.
In a league of their own.
We were in a league of our own, and then it became accepted, and like, it's all weird now.
And it's like, no, you can't be a jock and a gamer.
Get your chocolate out of my peanut butter.
The food is touching.
Stop touching. Exactly.
Oh, yes.
So yeah. But anyway, he'd get up and scream and shout at the TV and things like that, you know, all cute like. And then I would calmly remind him, Dad, they can't hear you. You don't own them. He's like, my team's doing really well. It's like, do you have stock invested in the team? Are you like, you know?
Yeah.
Where's this we coming from? And then I guess after all these years, he's kind of stopped watching baseball. He doesn't really do it anymore.
Usually,
he just kind of watches like that kind of retro channel or whatever. It's not TV Land, but it's the one that came after it.
Yeah.
That's basically all he does.
Yeah, I guess.
In terms of recreation.
I guess guys like to pass that on to their son, the love of cheering for.
Yeah, I feel
people
kind of bad that
on
I
TV.
never really took his thing. Like,
I just
doing
have
the
to
sports
say
thing.
that, I mean, I know people are gonna hate me for it, but I'm not really into watching a lot of sports except for the awesome ones like hockey and soccer. But
the awesome sports. Yeah.
No, all sports are fun to watch except for it's just like I'm not a football watcher, or I love baseball. I love our national pastime, but it's just so boring to watch. I'm sorry.
I thought America's sport considered football now.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Didn't they sign some type of waiver that said that?
Yeah, it was an agreement.
It's an agreement.
UN. But
we're all
but I just have to say
here.
I'm kind of glad. I was relieved when I heard that you weren't that into sports, because I was like, because I
gotcha.
I'm not into them very much either, so I'm sorry. Now everyone hates us.
Yeah, damage critical.
But yeah, that's
damage control.
I remember when we went to IHOP today, and we were just around. We actually tried to drop off a card for K-Dad.
Yep.
But
he was gone.
He was actually visiting K Grandpa.
He's on my way to see grandfather in New York.
So yeah.
And it was great timing. But that actually happens a lot to Amber and I. We'll go to visit them.
Yeah.
And they're not around.
Yeah. So.
And then they're like, well, you can always go in the house. It's like, why would we want to go in an empty house?
You guys. Yeah,
What's the point of going and just sitting in a non-air conditioned house when there's no one there?
This is nice. There's a couch.
A couch.
Yeah. But I was telling Luke, like, one of my favorite things that Luke told me about his dad when he was. I thought it was the sweetest story ever, because his dad, you know, would be in a really important meeting and have a lot of, you know, people that were, you know, in that meeting, and he was like leading the meeting and stuff like that, and Luke would be playing outside when he was a little kid, and I just remember him telling me that sometimes if he would see that Luke like fell off his bike or hurt himself or something happened, he would just leave the meeting, even if people were really mad at him. He would be like, I have to, you know, go check on my son.
I gotta take this.
And he would make sure that Luke was okay. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing. Like, I hope to be that kind of parent myself. Like, that even if kind of like, I don't know why, but I think of the movie Elf, where the dad finally in the end is like, hey, don't talk to my son that way. And he decides
don't talk to my son that way.
He decides to choose his family over his, you know, work. And I was like, oh, you know, I mean, it's very important. You know, movies, they can make a movie a certain way, and it can be like, oh, this is great. I know life isn't like a movie. Sometimes you do have to actually work and have a job, or your family will be on the street. But I'm just saying, it's really sweet when you make, you know, when you try to take time out for your family first when you make them first.
Family first.
Family first. So that was really sweet. That was one of the sweetest stories I've ever heard. So.
That was back when we were dating. I
Yeah,
think I
you did
mentioned
tell me
yeah.
that. That better be true.
No, it was true.
Did that to reel me in, maybe? No.
And the only story I told you that I'm not quite sure of, like, because I was really little when it happened. In case people didn't know, my dad is actually, he's been a minister for like, I don't know, maybe like 30 years, something like that, 20, 30 years. But we lived in a place in New York where we were only about 2 blocks from where the church was. So to save gas and things like that, my dad would ride like a 10-speed or kind of like this, you know, remember those mountain bikes, things like that? But he had like a 10-speeder.
Yeah, they had like the little motor.
Yeah. No, they didn't have motors.
Oh,
this was before bikes had motors.
Yeah.
Before they had motors.
Like when they were, they were just specialty bikes for, traveling.
My car. See, this is what happens when I drive and talk.
When you drive and talk.
my car.
Hopefully,
is like,
this isn't what happens when you drive and talk in real life. Are you trying to hit every single person?
Get out of my way! I'm talking about Father's Day stuff.
The bike.
The
we
bike.
were debating over what the bike was.
He had a 10-speed with like mountain tires, and it looked like kind of a Frankenstein 10-speed, from what I remember. But for some reason, he was coming home, and he flipped off his handlebars on the bike and went flying like after he was done at the office or whatever. And he broke his arm, and his arm looked really funny. And he came home and he was looking for ice or something, like to put on his arm because it said it felt weird or something. And my sister and I were watching something, Upwrecked, and he just kind of walked in and his arm looked like weird, like it was either his right or left arm. He was completely fine.
You told me it was backwards.
You know, I think it was backwards, yeah. And he was completely casual, he was fine, and things like that. He put on a thing, and then he put on like a tape for us, because my grandmother used to tape like all these shows for us when I was little. Because we didn't have cable, so she would like tape everything, and then we'd watch it on like a VCR, and it would sound like all whiny and stuff like that because it wasn't the best VCR. I think it was a what was that brand again? Sylvana, something like that. Sylvania, yeah. But anyway, he put it on, and then I think he called my mom, and she came home. She was working at Walmart at the time or something, and they went to the hospital, and he wasn't really complaining. But on the way to the hospital, it's like they probably went to Albany, which would have been about like an hour-and-a-half drive. So, you know, I don't even know what he was like, if he lost his composure or whatever when he was in the car. But when he came home, he just kind of like fell asleep on the couch. And then like, I think we were like 2 or 3 episodes into Scooby-Doo. And I actually thought something in the show startled Dad because he woke up and he was like screaming for a second. And like, yeah, I was just like, I remember... Like, Dad, what, are you okay? He's like, I'm fine. And he says, I'm going to go upstairs. And then he went upstairs and rested. But even when Mom wasn't home and he had a broken arm, like, in the sling and stuff, he still was, like, hanging out with us. And I always thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And you said he still rode his bike after that.
Yeah, he still rode his bike to work, like, after a day or two. Yeah. Like, he went back to work on the bike. It's like, he could just walk.
He's a pretty tough guy.
He liked his bike.
Doesn't let things bother him. It's like, some people have that mentality where... It's like, I'm only sick if I let myself be. I think
it was a mind over matter thing.
I think that's what some people do, and I guess that works sometimes. I remember I've heard a lot of people say about your dad, like he's one of the few people or only people alive that they know that can continue to work when they have a migraine. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
Like he can work for hours on end, and you'll just be like, oh, you look tired. It'll be like, no, I'm having a migraine right now. I'm in severe pain.
I'm in severe pain, but I'm still working.
But I'm sitting here having a meeting, driving people around. It's just like, okay.
Visiting shut-ins,
It's like, all right then.
Yeah. I couldn't do that when I have a migraine or a headache. You know what happens to me. I'm just kind of like, nah, I can't do anything. I'm gonna sleep. You can't take the day off. How are we supposed to make money? But my head hurts. I don't care if your arm's falling off. Get in your office.
I do not.
You're kind of like that, a little bit. Ow.
No.
Just a smidgen. But yeah, he's really cool, like the stuff that he does. It's just like, you know, I'm the complete opposite, but I am his son, so that's a good thing. But yeah, I just
So that was the touching memory of your dad.
No,
you remember the most wonderful thing about your dad is that he broke his arm.
He was RoboCop. Well, I broke my arms like worse than him.
Oh,
so I mean, maybe he kind of related to it or something. I don't know.
Well, no, you were telling me that was when you kind of, I don't know, I was at church today, and they were talking about what was the moment you realized, you know, your
Oh,
dad
that my dad wasn't Superman.
wasn't
Yeah.
invincible, and then you brought that story up.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because there was this thing that, they were saying today that people
that
were
was a
saying,
level 3 card.
you know, like, oh well, Superman has his kryptonite, so then it's like, oh really? Oh yeah, that's right. So I guess my dad still is my hero. So that's I was just
So I
watching
guess handlebars
I was
on
watching
bikes.
this little special today on that.
Dad's
so
kryptonite.
like, exactly. So even though our dads may not be perfect, they can still be Superman, because even Superman has his kryptonite. So.
Even Superman has off days. Yeah. But I'm.
So anyway.
Oh! Whoa! That is a cool crash right there. I enjoyed that one. That was pretty cool.
So yeah, so I'm sure everyone's having a wonderful Father's Day now that we've been talking about arms being broken and all kinds of stuff.
Things like that. Well, okay, I did have some fun. Do any of you guys remember like the wiffle ball bats and like balls and things like that? When I was a kid, me and my dad, like, I guess he was trying to make me a sports guy, or maybe he was just trying to get me off the video games. We would play a lot of like wiffle ball and things like that, and I wasn't really the most athletic kid, so you know,
But you played.
I did play
softball, and you were pretty athletic.
I played.
You played hockey too.
Yeah, I did, but I just remember going in the backyard and playing like wiffle ball and stuff with them, and
Maybe
just
that
the
was
sound.
later
No, that wasn't later. I wasn't doing that when I was a teenager. Wouldn't be caught dead playing wiffle bat. Oh wow.
No, I meant the sports that you did were later.
Oh yeah, the sports
this was
that I did.
The wiffle ball was earlier.
The wiffle ball was when I was little. Yeah.
When he was 2.
What? I don't
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be very safe for a 2-year-old to be wielding a bat and
You gotta start him early.
striking. That'd be like Jedi training, like trying the floating thing from the Star Wars thing. But yeah,
He's too old to begin the training.
yeah.
Continue.
The only thing I remember about, like, besides being terrible at hitting the ball and things like that, when we did manage to hit the ball because we had a very small yard, like at that place. There was a lady that had like dogs behind this fence, and we would have to jump over the fence to go get the ball back.
Oh my
Because we
gosh.
only had like 1 or 2 balls, like
Sandlot.
to it was kind of like the Sandlot, except the dogs were like fierce Chihuahuas and like those little.
they were Chihuahuas.
Those little they were kind of like small little dogs with white fur that looked like sheep, and they were really loud and scary. I mean,
How
scary
big
for
were they?
I don't know. They were.
Was they less than a foot long?
It doesn't matter how big they were, okay? I was terrified of them.
Wow.
More or less.
I mean, yeah, I can see how that would be terrifying.
It's terrifying for a little kid.
No.
Did you just do the loopy eyes? Is that what you did?
No.
I think you did.
No. I don't know. Whatever are you talking about? So yeah, so you had to get the ball away from tiny chihuahuas. And
Tiny, angry chihuahuas.
and your dad defended you, or he just sent you in there?
No, Dad went over the fence a lot of the
Oh,
times.
that's so nice.
I would get in trouble if I went over the fence because I wasn't fast enough to get away from the dogs.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys should have just had your own dog.
I didn't like dogs.
Aw. See, I love dogs.
That was probably, I mean, besides
That was where the fear of.
that's
That's where they. Yeah.
Well, no, because the neighbor next door,
No,
like
I know what
they
happened
had
with your dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had cute dogs, and then the neighbor
I
across
know.
the street, he had like this pit bull that
yeah.
like frightened me all the time.
Yeah. No,
and-
I know you got bit one time, so. It's
I got
fine.
bit several times, but yeah, when I got bit when I was a teenager, that's when the love of dogs ended
It was
completely.
like, you know what? Yeah, not anymore.
Dog bit through hand. Ah! Rated
Yeah.
R.
This is the most uplifting.
Yeah, this is Father's Day.
episode.
This is, I love you, Dad.
Wait, how long do we have to talk about memories? and-
Memories.
So anyway.
I'm gonna bust into cats if you don't mind.
No, I do mind. I'm sorry. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't. The reason I don't like cats is it's just like I don't know what.
I never understood why
what
the
is the
cats like
plot?
burst into that type of song
There's
about
no-
memories.
It's just random poetry kind of being sung by cats.
Because my cat
I
seems
think.
to forget like things that happened after 5 minutes. How could this cat
she
remember?
Does. She does the same thing.
Yeah.
All the she makes the same mistakes all the time.
I'm also starting to wonder if she's getting fat because when she jumps, she goes. "Meow."
You don't. How dare you talk about a lady's weight on there.
She's
Our
not
cat
a lady.
is a lady.
She's a cat.
She's a lady. She's a princess.
She's not a princess.
She's a Russian blue.
She walks on 4 legs.
Russian blues were like the cats held by like people and like royal people.
Wait. They were held. So they were held captive.
No, I meant they were owned by royalty. Only royalty could own a Russian blue.
Only royalty could own a Russian blue.
And somehow we got ours from the Humane Society, but still.
I guess a royal didn't want it.
Yeah.
She is kind of a frissy cat. Prissy
or fussy.
Fussy.
I guess you just made a new word.
I made a new word.
It's called frissy.
I want to see that as a meme now.
But
use it in a sentence.
Wouldn't that be really similar to frizzy?
I'm feeling really frissy.
So either your hair is all frizzy or you're feeling fussy and prissy at the same time.
Something like that, yeah, I guess so. I still want to see a meme. There's not enough Kwing memes out there. There just isn't.
I'll just make 1,000 accounts and then like make memes and pretend that people are making memes about us.
Yeah, but no.
Oh, not that I've ever done that. No, I
guess,
really haven't. No, I haven't.
Nobody's done that. Our wiki page is pretty scary. Like the comments on there, though, it's like, really? Wait, did I kill him?
Yeah.
Is he dead? Did I kill you till you died from it? Nope, he's alive. Wow, that guy is.
So yeah, we've had some interesting stories. I don't even know if we should talk about what we did.
Oh,
today.
I want to talk about that because it's kind of fitting.
I don't know if you're thinking of the same thing I am.
Yeah, I am. I'm thinking about it. Okay. So we are playing as police.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll get back to the dad stories in a little bit. But today, Amber and I were going to get our data plan changed on our phone. And we just had food at IHOP.
Yeah.
Which was okay, but they didn't have ice cream today, so I didn't get my milkshake or anything that I really wanted, so I was kind of upset.
You
but
failed us for the last time.
They failed us. I had very watery apple juice.
I really like IHOP,
you know?
But they're always missing something.
Yes.
Every time we go there,
is
they're
missing
like,
something.
oh, today we don't have milkshakes, or oh,
like,
today we don't have bread.
There's no bread today.
You were gonna have to make it out of like mashed up cornflakes.
Why did that guy log out? Noob.
It's just like, I don't know. It's just there's always something missing. Like, oh, we have onion rings but not fries.
Yeah,
today.
it's a missing day. We're having an off day today.
It's almost like a troll comes in and steals one of their important items every day.
Yeah.
It's like we're dealing with a food troll. We never know when he's gonna strike.
It's a food troll. Yeah, going to IHOP means you meet the food troll. But anyway, when we finished our meal at IHOP, product placement, and the food was we were going to Verizon,
product placement,
to get our data plan changed, and there was this guy in there, and I walked in, the door was completely unlocked. I did not look at the sign that said closed at 6 when it was 7 o'clock. Excuse me. So I waltz in, and I start calling around for people. And I notice this guy at the counter, like, where they fix the phones at the back of Verizon? He's like there, and he didn't speak a lick of English whatsoever. Like, he just repeated everything I said. And I kept asking if he worked there, and he was like, no, I need repair. And it's like, okay, he say, you work here? I guess he was surprised how I got through the door. I don't know.
Yeah, what I think that happened was, I think they
Amber thinks it was a cleaning guy.
Either the cleaning person, or he might have been a customer that didn't speak a lot of English.
Yeah.
And they locked him in because they were going to go get something for him, but we just waltzed in there. There was not a single employee in there. Like, all the phones were just there. So we ended up calling Verizon. I mean, like, we just waltzed in there. I actually couldn't get in there. Like, somehow the door locked for me, but not for Luke.
I have magic powers.
Oh, it was closed an hour ago. So maybe you have, like, some kind of magic powers where you're, like,
I'm Nightcrawler.
Yeah, you're Nightcrawler.
I didn't even realize I was Nightcrawler, and I just went, I bamped through the wall. Bamf.
So, but that's why the guy asked you, are you an employee? Even randomly got
even though I bamped through the door, I did notice something. Like, right next to the door, you know how they have that security alarm?
Yeah.
Like, it was blinking red, like it was silent alarm.
But I did remember, like, on all those cop shows and stuff, when someone is asked later on, like, oh, you went in there and there was no one in there, but you didn't tell anyone? That's shady. So then I thought, okay, well, we better notify someone. So I called Verizon first, and I was like, one of your stores is like not, you know, it's like totally open. And then, yeah. And then they were like, oh.
You should call the police.
They're like, yeah, we don't really deal with that. We don't really care.
It's like, really? You don't care if your store is being robbed?
They tried to call the store one time. They were like, oh, I didn't get a response. Well, it's probably the cleaning people. It's like, but why? It wasn't, because he was like waiting for service, so I know. Yep. And there was no cleaning supplies. So
yeah, there was no like, cleaning supplies. He's standing there with his phone in his floppy shoes. Like the flip-flop shoes.
And he has his phone. Why would you bring your phone in to clean? He brought his phone in because he needs service for his phone. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, just long story short, yeah, we called the police station. Luke called them because he thought I would be too, like, upset. Because I was actually freaking out thinking, oh my gosh, hopefully they
we're going to get arrested here. There's going to be a SWAT team outside our house. There's going to be, like, a
whole story, like the Kwings, like, rob a store. Like, they're, you know, Dick and Jane. What's that movie where... Exactly, but we didn't. We were just it was open, guys. Okay, now I'm feeling defensive.
Yeah. If you're a lawyer, yeah, no.
So anyway, what happened was
I ended up calling the police afterwards because Amber was worried about it. And we just told them that their store
was open.
And they sent somebody to check on it. And apparently there was no problem, or they didn't find anything suspicious.
They said they would go check on it.
They didn't call us back.
Yeah.
Like usually
so
Amber,
okay.
Because Amber watches all the police stuff. Usually what happens is the police would call you if there was a
if they had any
further questions about,
like if there was like a bunch of like if there was a tremendous explosion in the back with people smiling, and then there's like something that says Joker was here and a bunch of, you know, chaos going on.
Chaos!
And all the employees are either, you know, I don't want to say dead, but dead.
You just... Are you sure you didn't see anything? Yes, I saw something very criminal inside
like,
Verizon.
You didn't see a guy with a white, like a clown mask jumping around?
Nope. I saw something worse, officer. And what was that, son? The prices.
The prices. It's like, I have a phone call to make. Yeah, what? There's been a robbery at Verizon.
911, I have an emergency to report. What is that?
Like,
the prices here are criminal.
That's right. They're robbing the customers blind.
Yeah.
But anyway,
what can you do for that?
Now that I said that out loud, I'm sure, like, it's like, I don't want.
Hey, we didn't say what Verizon store it was.
Yeah, so
I mean,
anyway, we were in a Verizon store, and it was supposed to be locked, but apparently it was just wide open. There was no one in there, and it's just like, thank goodness we're honest people, because, yeah.
What's honest people? I don't know what those are.
Like, dishonest person would have just, like, went in there and taken stuff.
Well, I mean, you are on camera, and the silent alarm was
exactly.
going off. I mean, you wouldn't get very far.
We were just trying to get our data plan checked because our minutes were going over, and we need more data. We need more input. Need input.
No, Stephanie. I don't want to do the busted thing. I just want to pass him.
So now, now speaking of families, our family will be very worried about us now.
We're fine. We're all fine now here then.
Families always overreact, but that was the story for you guys.
Yeah, that was a story for our fans.
Yeah.
My dad, I mean, sometimes he watches us. He and my mom watched the top 10 Batman video we did like 2 months ago.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
Probably in about 3 months
and they'll see this.
They'll say something like,
and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh,
you talked about us." And what's this about the police? Nothing.
Yeah, when we did that that thing where we were like vlogging, and when we realized we were speeding a little and there was a police officer there.
Oh, our grandma.
Then we were like,
yeah,
oh my gosh,
grandma.
Oh my gosh, let's turn the camera off. And then we were joking around, and then our grandma was like,
she was worried.
She thought we got arrested.
Or got a ticket. Yeah.
Like we were just hamming it up for the camera.
So fast. Yeah, we were hamming it up because it was like, I mean, when we're together, we act just how we act.
We joke around with each other a lot. Mm-hmm. Like actually, probably more.
More than most sane people.
Like I just did this weird. I was just dancing to Michael Bublé like a few minutes before we started. I was doing some kind of like weird. I don't know. I always do a weird dance for my cat sometimes.
She was singing or dancing about her future husband because the song is Michael Bublé's I haven't met you yet. And it's like, I'm right here. Hello, it's me.
I like to mess with Luke sometimes.
Husband.
Speaking of that, remember
of 8 years.
A few days ago we were like driving in the car, and I'm sitting here with my phone because I'm obsessed. I've got music on my phone now. So I'm like shaking my phone up like this, and we're in the car, and like some people started waving at Luke. These guys in the car.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then you're like, Amber, those guys just waved at us.
Those guys just totally hit on you.
I was
what?
like, what? What are you talking about? And
Yeah.
you're like, they thought you were waving to them. I was like, no, why would I? Why would I
wave?
Why would I wave to some other guy while I'm in the car with one guy? Like,
Because you're that cruel.
what kind of girl do they think I am?
Vixen.
Yeah, I'm sure there could be other words for it.
Oh
We will
yeah,
not say.
there'll be other words, but this is you know, family friendly. So
This is Nightwing's channel.
that's right. So I just call you a duty head. No,
That's right.
I don't know. That's real material.
Mean covers most of it.
Mean.
Girls that cheat on their boyfriends or husbands, mean. I didn't cheat. I was just waving my phone and I was waving my hands in the air like I just didn't care. I was
Just didn't
waving.
care.
I was waving my phone and listening to music, and they thought I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, that guy's seen better days.
And then usually when that happens, Luke's always like, I'm like, why would they do that? I'm not pretty. And then then Luke will be like, be quiet, you are.
Yeah. Yeah. See, be quiet. Because you know you're saying things that aren't true about how hot you are. Can I use? Is that word appropriate to use?
Censor kitten, I'm getting.
Censor.
Censor kitten.
Whammo!
Scratch Luke's eyes out. So
What?
that's okay for me to
What?
say.
That's why is violence okay, but like other things are
because
are
I'm
taboo.
a girl.
Oh, I see.
That's my
I see how it is.
my morals are
I see how it is.
one-sided. It's
Uh-huh.
okay. It is weird how a lot
I'm really starting to
girls
believe
are
that.
okay with most things they do. They don't see anything wrong with most thoughts or feelings that they have. Like, and girls can get very mean. They can get very like, you know, like selfish and self-absorbed and, you know, like critical and things like that. There's a lot of things that girls have, like attributes that aren't very nice, but they always like look at guys and they're always
Sugar and
like,
spice and
they're always
everything
like,
nice.
oh, guys are so bad. They always think about things that are so wrong. It's like, okay, girls have flaws too. They just don't see their own flaws. Because there's a lot of things that guys are very mellow and peaceful about that girls aren't. Girls get really upset about.
I haven't met a lot of mellow guys. I met a lot of hotheads in my life.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess I'm just.
Whoa!
I don't even know what we're talking about.
I don't know. This is Sunday Drive.
This is
Anything
just
goes.
Not.
Anything goes. Racer busted.
It's
I don't
kind of
even.
like
I don't even
when
see how
I'm
that
in-
happened.
Usually, so anyway, yeah, I that was a really interesting experience. I really hope that we'll still be here next week and we won't.
So if a state official comes, we're not home.
If you see us on the news, you heard our side of the story here first.
That's right.
The door was open. We went in there to get service because our prices was too high for our phone. We didn't look at the so.
No, I got a lot of texts from developers and stuff ever since PAX ended, and it's just like, yeah, it was insane. So, yeah, we have to get that fixed soon, and that's all I went in there for.
Oh yeah, we've been getting so many texts, and like, I cannot count the number of times like people have been trying to text me, and I'd be like, I don't have this much of a text line.
Well, we can accept text. It's like when they expect us to write back long things, it's like, we kind of can. I hope they weren't charging us for. Oh, that hurt.
Ouch.
That's why I've got a Rammy thing in front of my car. Just call me Rammy the police car. Oh, this guy's trying to get away.
I don't know why I was thinking of Trashy the trash can right then. But
Trashy the trash can.
yeah, Rammy.
Rammy the police car. RoboCop.
Yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah.
Is it wrong that I said RoboCop, but I have the cops theme in my head? Dun, 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 Cops.
Oh yeah, and we were at, I don't know, we were at IHOP today, and I hope I don't think our waitress really knows who we are or watches our things, but I thought it was kind of interesting because I actually tried to be a waitress at Friendly's a while ago, and I was horrible at it.
A while ago?
Like years ago.
7 years ago?
I was so bad. Like, I think everyone else who worked there was embarrassed that I worked at the same place as them. Because, like, making us look bad. I should have just worked in the ice cream place. I would have been awesome at that. I do not know why I was like, oh yeah, I'll try the waiting thing. No. people who have memory like problems, like I cannot remember what someone ordered like 2 seconds ago. Like I forget a movie after an hour. You should not be a waitress. It just doesn't work. Plus my hands are tiny. I can only carry so many things
Tiny
at
hands.
once. And they're just like, oh no, you have to carry all these glasses. Like, this is gonna fall. And then they always fell. So yeah, it's like, yeah. No, I fell on my sword. I did it the honorable way. I just quit.
Sword falling.
I knew I was gonna get fired soon. It just was terrible. I really wanted to ask for a transfer to the ice cream place, but anyway, this has nothing to do with our waitress today. Okay, so anyway,
What has nothing to do with the waitress, by the way.
What I was gonna talk about was like, you know, yeah, she's such a sweetheart. She's really sweet. We had the same waitress last time.
I know, isn't that amazing?
And you know, she's, you know, she was like a little nervous or something. I don't know. Maybe she's like new or something like that. But then, like, you know, she's like, you know, you know, what a, you know, off to a rocky start already. I don't know. So it's like, no, we were like, no, you're doing fine. Everything's fine.
Doing great.
And then as soon as she says that, Luke, like, just kind of like,
oh,
somehow
I backhanded her. Yeah.
Somehow he randomly, there's like a pot of coffee on the table, and he just somehow, like, as soon as, like, she's a little tiny bit nervous about things, like, so
yeah,
just,
things
like,
aren't
kind of,
awkward
like,
enough
smacks
already.
the entire pot of coffee
I
onto
backhand I Falcon punched the,
You Falcon punched the waitress.
the waitress.
You assaulted a flight attendant in mid-flight.
I used the 1-inch
You need to go to anger management.
I used the 1-inch punch. That's what happened. With that,
but I was just thinking, I think, like, I don't know, never mind. Fine, I'll just say it. I'm sorry. I love you, our waitress. You're awesome. But I'm just gonna offer this.
I don't even think she knows who we are.
I'm gonna offer this advice because I was much. I was so much worse than you.
Wait, are you critiquing the waitress's thing?
She's awesome. I am just saying.
No, you just brought up.
I am just gonna say something. I used to be I noticed that when I was really nervous, and even when people were trying to be nice to me, like if I was nervous when I was waitressing, I would make them nervous to the point that they would start dropping things too. And I think like it transfers over. Like when you act like a little shaky or nervous, or you're like doubting yourself, like other people around you start doing that too. So I was like, maybe that was caught. I told Luke, like, oh my gosh, maybe she was like nervous, so then you got nervous and you like got so nervous you smacked the pot of coffee.
I don't even remember how it happened. I was just, I don't even drink coffee.
Or maybe I did it with my mind. Maybe I'm Matilda or something.
That would make a lot of sense.
You know, the girl that like gets so angry that she moves things with her mind when she's upset.
Yeah.
Whoa, you do not want me to have that power.
No, I don't.
This world would not be around anymore.
No, probably wouldn't
like,
be.
You could just look at someone and then make something happen. Okay, now I'm creeping out.
But
let's change the subject.
Anyway, I think that's a good stopping point. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch, ladies and gentlemen.
Day, guys.
This started out as a tribute to my dad, and then it just, well, it was just like any one of my podcasts. It just kind of went all over the place.
Backseat commenter,
podcast person.
I apologize for everything that I just said.
No, you don't.
These views are not held.
These opinions are solely Amber's and Amber's alone.
The views expressed by K-Wife in this video are only solely,
They do not represent K-Wing reviews as a whole. Anyway, thanks so much for.
They were made in a state of partial insanity.
Will you let me close off already?
Continue.
You're gonna let me like.
I'm sorry. I'm done now.
End this.
I promise.
You sure?
I'm just gonna look at you with my mind. Yeah, go ahead. You're done.
Call that mind looking.
Yes. So yeah, God bless and happy gaming.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna steal my line now. I see how that is. But yeah. I already said thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Those of you that are dads, keep up the great work. The most important thing you can do for a child is spend time with them and make that child think that you are like the bee's knees and love them. And love them, yes. So, you know, do that and you too will not be like that song about the silver spoon, you know, with the we'll get together soon, Dad. You know, we'll have a good time then. Something like that.
And happy future.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon.
Future Father's Day to you,
The boy sat on the man in the moon.
In the distant future.
Something like that. Wait, he just turned around. But yeah, I'm gonna go catch this perp, and I'm gonna have a donut for some reason. I'm craving one. But yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next Sunday with another Sunday drive on something. and hopefully the gameplay will be a little bit better. Oh, and those of you that have the alpha beta, it ends tonight in Destiny, so maybe we'll get to play together, because I'm going to hop on that in about 15 minutes or so. And I'll be there for the end of everything with alpha. It's so sad. Bye, gamers.
See ya.